You want to get to know the people that you're with. And when you're friends with the people that you work with, it becomes less like work and more like passion.
Yeah.
And that is very sustainable energy.
Erin, you are funkified. Look at you. That is amazing.
I'm loving this.
Oh
Do you
my
know how many
God.
compliments I've gotten on this thing?
Do tell.
Like,
I mean,
I can't count.
okay.
Endless.
So Erin, yeah, thanks so much for coming to the program. And let's start with your journey. I'm curious what drew you to the world of eye care and what keeps you passionate about it today.
I consider myself to be one of those few lucky people who, right after graduation, fell into an industry that I absolutely love and feel very passionate about. So my first job out of college was with Visex. We were acquired by AMO, then acquired by Abbott, and all that kind of stuff. Went back to business school and actually took a stint at Genentech, working on a lung cancer therapy. And it was great, totally wonderful, biotech, booming, awesome. But it was right during the time that Lucentis was being launched.
Yeah.
And I have this cartoon image in my mind of the people that worked in ophthalmology with Lucentis, like popping champagne bottles because they were giving people sight. Like they were helping to retain sight. And I just remember thinking, I want to be back there. I defined a little bit personally what it means in healthcare to provide quantity of life versus quality of life. And so after that, you know, I went on my continued journey about how do I influence quality of life. And I just feel very tied to the fact that ophthalmology does that every day.
At J&J Vision now, Erin, how are you approaching innovation in a way that's truly improving patient outcomes, as we're talking about, and staying in sync with what surgeons actually need?
What I love about how we look at innovation in a very basic way is, what does the patient take away? Let's throw our resources at that away, and how do we give them the best possible outcomes through their provider? Secondly, innovation needs to accelerate. We always need to push forward, but pushing forward doesn't necessarily always mean costing more. You know, I look at our IOL portfolio as a pyramid, right?
Yeah.
You're always going to want to innovate, though, at every level of that pyramid. It can't just be about premium lenses. It's really easy to fall into this slippery slope of saying, this is a higher margin or but it's a smaller population.
Correct.
We work in healthcare.
Yeah.
We want to affect patient care positively worldwide. And in order to do that, you have to pay attention to all of those segments and make sure that safety, efficacy, and efficiency are still there.
Right.
That we're still focusing on what's best for the patient, but also make sure that we make ophthalmology a continued wonderful place for surgeons to want to come to.
Now, when you look 5 or 10 years ahead, what excites you most about where ophthalmology is headed?
You know, I think that ophthalmology has a lot of amazing innovation. It's near term, and I'll give you two things off the top of my head. Number one, we have a weird gap in patients, like let's say 45 to 65.
Yeah.
Too late for refractive surgery, too early for cataract surgery. I think in the next 10 years, we're gonna see something interesting happen there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The second thing is population growing, physician base staying the same, and reimbursement shrinking. In the next 10 years, that will be exponentially more of a problem. How are we as industry and as societies and as surgeons going to share advocacy and innovation to tackle that challenge?
What's your biggest lesson recently in terms of leadership, something that's maybe challenged you or changed how you lead?
One is a very tactical example. As a leader, you have to realize that a lot of people are thinking about themselves and you're doing the same thing. So stop thinking so much about yourself and start thinking about the value and the benefit that you can provide to others.
Yeah, oh, that's really nicely said.
But the second thing here is, and Matt, this is what I love most about you, authenticity. You own you. And that is something that I personally think that you've done an amazing job in this industry to celebrate that.
Yeah.
In a world of gray and black suits.
Yeah.
You have magenta on, my friend. I would call it self-realization. When you embrace yourself in that way, again, your energy is just so much more sustainable.
And what's something that people in industry might be surprised to learn about you, Erin?
I was the kid that ate lunch alone in 8th grade. It's almost like I look back on that time and I'm like, oh man, that was rough. But I wouldn't change it for anything because it's just a hefty dose of reality. And I really do think that I hope that it makes me more relatable for people who might need to be seen.
How do you keep yourself centered and share with me some personal passions that help you unplug? I don't know what unplugging means, but maybe you do.
I was gonna say, what is that word? I do not speak this language. No, I'm kidding. I just kind of feel like wherever you're at, be there 100%. I'm at ASCRS, which means I am here 110%.
Yeah.
And when I go home tomorrow, I'm gonna be with my family 110%. Make sure that wherever you're at, you understand that you're giving it all or you're not giving it all. And that's okay.
And to wrap up, what do you hope people walk away thinking after hearing you speak today, Erin?
Ophthalmology is the greatest industry in the world. We need more talent. Come and work with us. J&J is the place to be, and I say that with a lot of sincerity because when you come into this industry, you will realize you will literally never want to leave. What better mission and passion could you devote your time to?
So well said. Erin, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm gonna go strut my jacket.
There you go. I'm gonna high five you out. Booyah.